had to learn. You know, I think I was so closed off sometimes to change or scared of change or other things. And, you know, it's like I've seen so many different iterations. You got to think, like, when I sort of start with wearing my Rolex, that came out on CD. You know, it wasn't even about download then, it was about CD, you know, so
Right.
it was like I've had to constantly learn and adapt to different iterations of
Yeah.
doing things, you know, to now today's age where it's like it's all about, is it going to pop up on TikTok? Is it going to do this? Is it going to do that? Like AI, this, that. It's like if you don't adapt or keep up with
All
the,
the latest
then you're
trends.
going to
Yeah.
get left behind.
Yeah, especially as you're kind of always going to want to be tapping into the next generation and their culture and the way they do things and consume,
Yeah.
etc. Like you mentioned TikTok. Is that a big part of your strategy now?
Probably 60 or 70% of global hit songs come from TikTok.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, I'm not
TikTok,
even like
but but
on TikTok.
but TikTok creates hits like nothing
Right.
else
Is
currently.
that because there's so much like people take it and then they do these dance routines to it and
Yeah,
stuff?
things take on a different life on
Yeah.
TikTok. You know, like the it also just shows you how quickly a song can become. There's never been any platform where you could have no followers on TikTok
Yeah.
and you post a video on there tomorrow and you could have 10 million views.
Right.
But what any other platform you need to have
They
10
won't even show it to people until you've got
yeah.
more. So
Or it
so
could be
they will
if
show like a video that was made by somebody with no followers
yeah,
almost
if they
to
think that
people.
if they think the content is good enough, you know.
Right.
So
And is
if
that just the algorithm
it's just the
thinking?
algorithm, yeah,
Wow.
you know. So it's
Interesting.
so but it you know, and that's just like, you know, countless songs that we've been fortunate to be involved with have
Have gone.
become, you know, you mentioned Tyler earlier, like Tyler's song Water became a monster hit from TikTok. You
Really?
know,
What did you
without
do? Like how like, did you manufacture that or it was
that
organic?
that was nothing to do with us. We don't manage Tyler. You know, we managed the producer who
Okay.
made the song, but it was like you know, people. She did a dance routine on TikTok, and millions of people,
To that
yeah,
song.
to that song, and
Right.
millions of people copied it, and it just went berserk. You know.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not
So now
always a
like
dance routine. It could be, you know, any type of thing. But people somehow
connect
connect to
to
a song, and then a song takes on a different, completely different life because
yeah.
of something that someone has heard in a song that they think is.
In a way it's in a way that's positive because it's democratized everything, right? Anybody can just put a video up on TikTok.
But that's
Yeah.
the point. When I came into music, there were a lot of gatekeepers. You know, if you wanted to have a hit, you had to go and please this one at radio or please this one, or you know, it was like
Please in
no,
every
no,
possible way.
no. But like the labels held
Yeah.
so much power in those days. It was like it wasn't this kind of democratic thing
Sure.
where
Anyone.
anyone could have a hit.
Yeah.
The labels kind of were going to decide who was going to have a
Yeah.
hit.
Even the like recording equipment and software is just available, just literally
Everything
on your phone. You
you don't
can
need
make it.
any
Yeah.
yeah, do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? You don't need a fancy studio. You don't need it's like you are as creative as you are. Everything is there for anyone to win. Anyone that thinks you need shiny things or I'm not winning because I'm not with this label or this manager
Yeah.
or this, you're delusional. You're not winning because you have the wrong mindset.
Yeah.
Everything is there and available for you to win. You just need to wake up and see that it starts with you.
Yeah. And you can start with very cheap free software on your
100%.
phone, start
Yeah.
to record, get creative and yeah, just start
Because
putting down layers.
if you
Yeah.
can't do it like that,
Yeah.
you're not gonna go into like the massive fancy studio and it's all
Yeah.
gonna be better.
And it's yeah, it's not necessarily better as well, right?
A hundred
Like,
percent.
you know. And
I remember being in fancy studios with people and them saying to me, you know what, like it's not really a vibe. Like it was better like when we were doing music like
in our bedroom.
in the bedroom or in the
Yeah.
shed or whatever it is
Yeah, yeah.
because it just felt like
'Cause
rawer
so
and
much of
more vibe.
about that, like with creativity, is about like creating a vibe and then capturing the vibe,
Yeah.
right, into whether it's audio or video or both, and yeah, and getting the right setting and workflow to consistently make that magic. Like you look at some of these producers, like Rick Rubin, it's like doesn't even get involved in anything.
I'm obsessed with Rick Rubin.
Yeah,
I'm
me
finishing.
too.
I'm finishing his book at the moment.
Yeah.
And
I finished his book. I listened to the
yeah,
audio
same.
book because it's him talking. So
Yeah.
it's like even he's got such a calm voice as well.
But you know what it is? There's so many inspirational quotes. So like,
Yeah.
there's a particular quote that's
About
actually
creativity.
not in the book, but he said once that I recite all the time, which is like, your job as an artist is to paint, right?
Right.
My job as a manager is to frame and sell.
Right.
I don't tell you what to paint. You have to be able to paint.
Yeah.
You know, like too many artists will think, oh, you're the manager or the record label. You've got.
But he's down as a producer, right?
Yeah.
Or what is it? So
he's a producer, but
Yeah.
he co-founded Def Jam as well.
sure. Yeah.
But you know what? A lot of people have the misconception is like, oh, we need to be with this. If we get with this shiny manager or this shiny label, all this success is going to come, or this thing's going to be better. But ultimately, if you aren't great at your craft, at painting or creating, what's going to be better? You know, ultimately, if you have that vibe within you, if it's like you are that Basquiat or you are that kind of creative genius,
yeah.
it's going to come to light. You know?
Yeah. And the manager and label's job is to like shine more light
Yeah.
onto what you're doing.
That's
but they can't like elevate something that isn't there
Do you know what I mean?
anyway.
You
from the
can't make
beginning.
someone, you can't turn someone into, you know, Kendrick Lamar or Basquiat or whatever,
Yeah.
who just aren't that.
You can't
You know,
polish
so
a
it's,
turd,
yeah,
as they
but
say.
yeah, you can't.
in a way.
There needs to be that amount of talent where all you're doing then is just like shining a bigger light on that talent.
Exactly. Elevating them.
The talent needs to
getting
be
more